Welcome to on-demand training for FlowCam 8000. In this video, we will tour VisualSpreadsheet, the software application that operates FlowCam and performs flow imaging microscopy, particle data analysis, and visualization. The tour is designed to introduce you to the essential features of VisualSpreadsheet that you will need to get started with FlowCam. More detailed information about VisualSpreadsheet features and capabilities is available in the VisualSpreadsheet User Guide, which can be found in your Desktop Resources folder. On the FlowCam desktop, you will find icons for VisualSpreadsheet and your FlowCam 8000 Resources folder. The Resources folder content will vary depending on your FlowCam instrument and application, but generally will include the FlowCam 8000 Configuration Guide, the FlowCam 8000 User Guide, details about the current FlowCam Gold and Silver service plans, technical notes, FlowCam 8000 videos, and the VisualSpreadsheet User Guide. To open VisualSpreadsheet, double-click on the desktop icon. A dialog box will appear asking you to choose a magnification. This dialog box appears even if you have not yet installed a magnifying objective lens. If you are opening VisualSpreadsheet for the first time and/or you do not yet have an objective lens installed, simply choose the magnification that you plan to use and click OK. However, if this is not the first time using your FlowCam, look under the objective shroud to see which objective might already be installed and choose the magnification in the dialog box accordingly. When you click OK, the next dialog box that appears asks you to confirm that the selected magnification lens is installed. If you have an objective lens installed, make sure the selected magnification is correct. If you do not have a lens installed yet, simply click OK and allow the system to proceed. You may hear the linear stage adjust its position while waiting for the VisualSpreadsheet main window to open. In the main window, you will find the title bar showing the name of your active VisualSpreadsheet software version. In this case, we are working with VisualSpreadsheet 6. The menu bar is the main navigation bar where you can access the program's essential functions from drop-down options listed below each menu item. The operation bar has buttons for the most frequently used FlowCam operations. The large area in the middle of the main window is the Data Display window. This highly customizable space is where VisualSpreadsheet shows particle data statistics and graphs for open runs. At the bottom of the main window, you will find the highlighted configuration status bar showing the hardware and settings that the software thinks are currently active. Details include the objective lens magnification, syringe volume, field of view FOV flow cell size, the context file, and if your instrument is equipped with a laser, details about the laser status are also shown here. From the File menu, when you choose Open Data, a Select Data window opens, where you can click on the Open Data button to open saved runs and saved sets. You can also create new sets from this window. Choosing Delete Data opens a window that has lists of saved runs, sets, filters, and libraries that you can select from to delete unwanted data. The Import option enables you to import FlowCam data from external or shared drives, while the Export option allows you to move the various types of FlowCam data to external or shared drives. You can also export the main window as a PDF from this Export option. Selecting Save As allows you to save a copy of your run with a unique name. The Print and View Print Context Settings options allow you to view and print the main window, setup, and context details. The Backup option presents choices for when you would like the software to perform backup protocols, and choosing Exit closes the VisualSpreadsheet application. For advanced FlowCam users, an additional license key is available that activates the Show Read-Only and Update Read-Only Tables options, which give you read-only access to the VisualSpreadsheet database. With this access, data can be pulled, or multiple databases can be aggregated without the risk of corrupting or deleting the primary data. From an open run, You can select particles and then go to the Edit menu to either remove those selected particles or remove the particles that are not selected. The Setup menu allows you to access the context window, which contains several tabbed pages where you can input the flow imaging microscopy conditions for your sample. The Camera View option opens a new window that shows what the camera is seeing in real time, which is helpful when setting up the hardware and preparing the system before your flow imaging run. The Fluidics option opens the Fluidics dialog where you will go when you need to change the pump syringe. Fluidics Levels takes you to a graphical dialog box that shows the current fill status of the clean and rinse bottles and gives you the option to reset the fluid levels. This feature is only relevant for earlier FlowCam 8000 models. The Objective option is where you would go to access the Objective install and remove protocols. Buttons for Context and Camera View are conveniently included in the operation bar since these functions are so frequently used. The Analyze menu contains the functions for Auto Image Mode, your main particle imaging capture mode. Auto Image Mode No Save, which is the same as Auto Image Mode except the image file is not saved. And File Processing Mode, which allows you to rerun samples using previously saved raw image files. Analyze also contains special analysis functions such as Trigger Mode and Light Obscuration, which is not shown here, for FlowCam instruments with these specialized capabilities. Buttons for File Processing Mode, Auto Image Mode, and special instrument functions like Trigger Mode and Light Obscuration are also available in the operation bar for easy access to these frequently used functions. The Preferences menu contains options that allow you to customize the way you want VisualSpreadsheet to perform data analysis and visualization. Choosing Data Display Settings opens a dialog where you can choose things such as graph background color and style, data colors, decimal precision, and the format for image export. The Layout option enables you to load or save a particular data display layout. When you select the Filters option, a new window opens where you can select whether or not to show filter statistics in the data display window of an open run and choose which calculated values you want included in the analysis and data display. From this window, you can also add filters to the filter list using the Find, Edit, or New buttons to apply filtering protocols to your imaging data. Particle Properties opens a dialog box from which you can select which particle properties you want to include in the data summary, display, and exported files. The Statistics option opens a dialog box from which you can choose which metadata statistics, particle property statistics, and cumulative statistics you want VisualSpreadsheet to calculate and show in the data display window. You can also choose to include the context summary data in the data display window by clicking the tick box next to Context Summary. The Preferences menu also gives you access to advanced settings options and allows you to view default startup settings. By selecting the Open View option in the Tools menu, a new window opens displaying the collage of particle images from an open run or runs. The Classification tool allows you to view a classification, to open a classification template, and to view a library. The Visual AI option is a custom software tool only available with the purchase of Visual AI. A button for OpenView is included in the operation bar for easy access to this function. From the Graphs menu, when Show Graphs is selected, graphs are shown in the data display window. The Custom Graphs option allows you to define custom histograms, custom scatterplots, and custom average bar graphs. And from the Histograms option, you can choose from a drop menu of properties to profile your particle data in histogram format. A list of properties commonly used to plot versus diameter are provided in a separate drop menu for convenience. Similarly, for instruments equipped with a laser, common fluorescence data plot options are listed to simplify the way you set up your data visualization. The Scatter Plots option provides a drop menu list of frequently used ways of plotting imaging data, including the list of common ways to visualize diameter and fluorescence data in scatter plot format. To view the frequency of particle images collected over time, you can choose the Time Series Graph option. The options selected in the Preferences menu and the Graph menu define what will be shown in the data display window. For a more detailed demonstration of how selections in the Preferences and Graphs menus are shown in the data display window, please watch the Layout Your Data Display video on the FlowCam University FlowCam 8000 homepage. You can view details about your FlowCam instrument by selecting About VisualSpreadsheet from the Help menu. Info such as the instrument serial number and details of the software version are included in this window. Information on available license keys and how to request and activate new license keys is provided in the Feature Registration option. And to take a shortcut to the FlowCam website to order supplies or contact technical support, you can choose these respective options from the Help menu. The operation bar has buttons for the most frequently used functions of VisualSpreadsheet. When first preparing FlowCam for a flow imaging microscopy run, you will want to make sure the context is appropriately set for your specific sample. When you click on the Context button, a window with several tabs opens. The Load tab gives you the option to load factory default context settings, load a previously saved context file, save a context file with a new name by choosing the Save As button, or click the Save button if you have made changes to an existing file. The Capture tab allows you to input parameters that will help VisualSpreadsheet discriminate discrete particles during camera capture. There are 5 panels in the Capture tab: Particle Capture, Particles Defined by, Images, Acceptable Region, and Rolling Calibration. In the Particle Capture panel, you can input a value in the Distance to Nearest Neighbor field to tell the software how far in microns particles need to be from each other to be considered distinct. The Close Holes Iterations function is used to fill in small gaps, or close holes, in an image. Choosing a value of 1 through 5 defines how many times this morphological operation will be repeated using a 3x3 pixel neighborhood with each iteration. In the Particles Defined by panel, segmentation threshold conditions are selected. Depending on the particle type in your sample, you will want either just dark pixels, just light pixels, or both dark and light pixels to be used to discriminate particles from the background of the camera image. For example, with opaque particles, only dark pixels would be selected, while for samples with both opaque and translucent regions, like biological cells or aquatic organisms, both dark and light pixels would be selected. Recommended values for common aquatic and biopharma particle types are provided in the FlowCam 8000 configuration guide found in your desktop resources folder. The Images panel allows you to define the number of pixels separating the edge of the imaged particle from the background. You can also choose Save Raw Images and input the maximum number of images to save. The saved raw images can then be used in file processing mode. In the Acceptable Region panel, the position of the flow cell can be adjusted by changing the values in the left, right, and top and bottom fields. If changes are made here, it is good practice to go to camera view to make sure that the flow cell is indeed properly aligned with the camera's acceptable region. When rolling calibration is enabled, the background image is constantly updated throughout the flow imaging run to optimize the segmentation function. This is especially helpful with samples that tend to have sticky particles. With the rolling calibration function enabled, particles that stay in the camera view will get treated as background. From the Flow Cell tab, you can choose the flow cell size that will be used in your run. The flow cell depth and width values will automatically update according to the chosen flow cell. The Sample Settings tab contains 3 input panels: Settings, Estimated Efficiency and Runtime, and Priming. In the Settings panel, you can input values for the sample volume in milliliters, flow rate in milliliters per minute, and auto image rate in frames per second. The auto image rate and estimated efficiency values are related, such that changing the auto image rate directly impacts efficiency. Due to the complex fluid dynamics of the flow imaging system, an auto image rate that does not exceed 70% efficiency is recommended to ensure that repeat imaging of a given particle is avoided. In the priming panel, you can choose to have your sample automatically primed or manually primed into the flow cell at the start of a run. When automatic prime is selected, you can input a desired priming flow rate. This option is disabled when manual prime is selected, since the manual prime rate is set from the pump control dialog in the camera view. The Dilution tab allows you to input a dilution factor for VisualSpreadsheet to use in its particle properties calculations. The Sample Dilution Concentration panel automatically calculates the dilution factor by finding the ratio between the sample volume and total volume values that you enter. There are 2 panels in the Capture Filter tab for you to define the conditions VisualSpreadsheet will use while acquiring images. In the Basic Size Acquisition Filter panel, you can choose to have VisualSpreadsheet acquire images based on diameter minimum and maximum values, as defined by ESD, Estimated Spherical Diameter, or ABD, Area-Based Diameter, algorithms. You also have the option to use No Size Filter. Advanced acquisition filters can also be selected from previously saved program files. Buttons are available to help you find, edit, or create new filters. The Reports tab has 2 panels, the Export panel and the Classification panel, which allow you to define how you want run data to be exported and how you want to manage classifications when the run terminates. The Find button allows you to access a classification from a saved location. The Notes tab presents a convenient space for you to jot information pertinent to the context file. The Stop tab presents a panel with a list of options for stopping a run, and a Recalibration panel that allows you to define specific time intervals for VisualSpreadsheet to recalibrate during a run. The Fluorescent Measurement Settings tab is only available on FlowCam 8000 instruments that are equipped with a laser. The fields available in the tab allow you to set the acquisition threshold, noise threshold multiplier, and the gain. The Camera View button will open a new window that shows a real-time view of what the camera is seeing. In this Setup and Focus Mode window, you can see if the flow cell is properly aligned within the camera's acceptable region by noticing if the flow cell interchannel edges, the black lines, are just outside the camera view highlighted by the red line. Also shown in the live camera view is the real-time run data in red text. The pump control dialog box typically opens by default, but can also be accessed by clicking on the pump control button. The pump control dialog box allows you to set the flow rate and manually start the pump as you prepare the system prior to an imaging run or while cleaning and rinsing the fluidics. Now that we have looked at the context and camera view buttons, we can look at file processing mode. When you click on the File Processing Mode button, an Open Image window appears. From here, you can access the data folder in your PC Documents directory that contains the saved raw image files that you want to process. Auto Image Mode is selected to start a live imaging run. When the button is selected, the Stop Conditions dialog box appears, asking you to confirm the stop conditions set in the context file. There is also a Notes field where you can write information relevant to the run you are about to start. When you click OK, a Run Name dialog box appears where you can input a unique file name for the run. Clicking OK initiates the run. Similarly, the Trigger Mode button immediately opens the Stop Conditions dialog box and Run Name dialog box before the Trigger Mode run begins. To see a collage of the images acquired in an open run, click on the Open View button. A new view window will appear that displays images for you to edit, sort, and filter based on preferred particle properties. There are buttons that allow you to change how the particles in the view window are shown. For example, clicking on the arrow changes the order of the images based on the current sorting property values, either from highest to lowest or lowest to highest. You can zoom in or zoom out and reset the zoom by clicking Zoom Home. You can also organize your view by clicking on certain images to select them. You'll notice how selected images are highlighted in a colored border. By clicking Show Selected, you now only see the particle images that you highlighted. To go back and see the full image dataset, simply click on the Show All button. There are other things you can do in OpenView. For example, you can change how the particle images are sorted by choosing from a long list of particle properties in the Sort menu. You can also apply filters to the particle image data by choosing options from the Filter menu. This completes your introductory tour of VisualSpreadsheet.